Hey, back at it again. We got a few things that came in the mail today. This is that Cobra 9495 Cobra master cylinder, 15/16 diameter bore. Willwood adjustable proportioning valve for the rear. This is the aerospace components manual brake conversion bracket, mounting bracket, whatever you want to call it. And this is their adjustable push rod for the master cylinder as well. When you get this kit and you do this, you got to modify your stock brake pedal. So that top bolt hole up here is the pivot point of the brake pedal currently, and this hole down here is the original point where this guy right here, the master cylinder push rod, attaches to the pedal. When you go to a manual conversion, you need to get more leverage on the pedal, and to do that you got to re-drill a new hole closer to the pivot point to give you more leverage on the fulcrum. So aerospace wants you to do it 2 inches down from the pivot point, so that's what we're doing right now. I got the pedal box out. Once you unbolt the brake booster over there, the hydro boost, take the 4 nuts off of that and slide that out. There's only one bolt left on the inside to get this out, and it's this top one right here. There's a stud that comes through here, and there's a nut on the bottom. Just undo it, and this whole thing will come out. And then you just remove the pedal, one nut, and then the bolt slides out, and you can take it out. But anyway, so here's your pivot point. Right here was the original point for the master cylinder push rod. And so I just measured from the center point of the pivot 2 inches down, marked it, punched it, and now I'm drilling it. So you got to drill that out 7/16. So I'm starting smaller and I'll work my way up to 7/16, and then you can run a bolt in. And what I'll probably do is run a bolt in there and then tack weld the head of the bolt on the back side so it won't move, and then I can just slide the push rod on it and then put a nut on it, torque it down, and be done. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish drilling that, and then we'll move on, guys. The drive shaft is done. The guy called me today, and so tomorrow morning I'm gonna run the yoke up there and drop it off to him and have him balance it, and then I can take the drive shaft home. I called Team Z. Like I said yesterday, I was going to stop and pick up one of their full-length subframe connector kits, but they don't have any made up right now. They said they'll have more made up and powder coated sometime next week, so I'll have to make another run up here to get them or pay shipping. I just hate paying $30-40 in shipping for something that's only less than an hour away from my house. But we'll get them either way. So I'm gonna have them call me when they get them in, and we'll get one picked up. So, but yeah, tomorrow, sometime afternoon, we'll have a drive shaft. We'll get it thrown in, and I'll give you guys a picture of it, shoot a video of it, show you what it looks like, make sure it fits, and then that'll be one less thing we got to worry about, guys. Go ahead and check that off the list and move on. But all right, let's continue. Alright guys, there it is. 7/16 hole. All deburred and ready to install. So let's go ahead and get a bolt. 7/16 bolt ran through there. Like I said, I'll tack it on the back side, and then we'll throw it back into the pedal box there. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, there we go, guys. Got it tacked in, welded in, and she ain't going nowhere. So let's go ahead and let that cool, and then we'll toss it back in there, and then we'll get that thrown back in the car. Let's go. Alright guys, that's what you want it to look like. Once you get it, the hole drilled, the bolt set through it, weld it if you want, but then slide the rod end over that. You want it to face the firewall, so face it back, and slide it over and torque the nut down. And then you're ready to put it back in to that. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, here's the bracket, guys. It comes with 2 bolts. They got a tapered head on them, so you screw them in until they're flush. And then these 2 black bolts here are what the master cylinder will bolt to. So go ahead and fit this up down there. You can see I got the pedal mounted and my push rod coming through. So I'll go ahead and slide this on there and get it bolted up. Alright guys, right into the first issue. I got it bolted up. Plate's good, everything fit perfect there. Master cylinder fit the plate good. But as you can see, this front line or fitting, I can't run a straight fitting and a 90-degree line. I'm gonna have to run a 90-degree fitting in a straight line, or I'm gonna have to run a banjo bolt style fitting in a straight line. So yeah, just a fair warning. It'd probably fit fine with the 2-valve, but if you're putting a 4-valve in, or you have a 4-valve, you're gonna want a banjo bolt for the front. The rear will be fine with a straight fitting and a 90-degree hose. You'll have plenty of clearance there, but in the front you just run out of room there. So I'm gonna have to leave that until I can get a fitting. I'll go ahead and order that tonight. But all right, let's keep going. All right guys, back out in the shop today to get a little more work done. Just got off work here a little while ago, and the old man was able to go pick up the drive shaft from Shaftmasters. He took the yoke in there. Hour later, they had it balanced, ready to go, and we brought it back, threw it in. Fits great. So yeah, highly recommend them if you're in the area, or if not, they ship. And they, you know, a really good price. They're not too bad priced compared to a lot of places. So if you're in the market for a drive shaft, check them out, guys. They're in Lincoln Park, Michigan. So if you just Google them, it'll pull up their website. Okay, here's the drive shaft. Let's see if I can get some light on it for you guys. That's a Stifflers drive shaft loop installed as well. And this is the Shaftmasters aluminum drive shaft that we picked up today. Let's see here. Shine some light. That's the strange yoke, Mark Williams U-bolt kit, and 1350 joints. So let's see if I can crawl under here and get you a little closer shot. Yeah, kinda. You can kinda see. But there's the Stifflers mount and the drive shaft loop. Pretty tight fit, but it clears, so we're all good there. So yeah, came out pretty good. Alright guys, the next thing I'm gonna do is start running the trans-cooler lines from the transmission up to the aftermarket cooler that we got. So the parts I got to do that is 2 10-foot lengths of Vibrant -6 push lock hose. So I got 2 10-foot sections. I got 2 fittings that'll screw into the transmission cooler itself and convert it to a -6. These are, if you end up getting the same cooler as me, the fitting on the cooler is a 5/8 18 converted flare, and that's just a fitting that converts it to -6. I don't know if you see the part number, but that's the Summit part number for it. You'll need 2 of those. And then I got 4 90-degree push lock -6 fittings. Jags only had 3 in stock, so I got the last one from Summit. And then I got 4 of the crimp collars or whatever you want to call them for the push lock hose. You don't need them, but this is extra added security to make sure the line doesn't come off. But them push lock fittings, they bite into that hose. It's a very, very minute chance that they'd ever come off. If you want to disassemble them, you're going to have to cut them off more than likely. So that's all the parts to start making our line. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm going to pull this radiator out so I can get to the cooler, and then we'll get going. So let's go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get one fitting in the one side of the hose. I'll go underneath it, connect it to the transmission. And then I'll get the other one, do the same thing to the other port on the transmission. We'll take this over to the bench and I'll show you the best way I found to get these fittings to go in. Put a little lubricant on it. Okay. A little in your hose. Just start working them on. They go on fairly nice. If you still have an issue getting this all the way on, you can take a heat gun and just heat it up a little bit. Just get it a little more pliable, and then it'll slide on the rest of the way for sure. Okay. It's gonna be warm, so be careful. What I do is I put it between the two ears on the hose here. Okay. Then all I do, they make a special tool to crimp these, but I don't have one, so I just take a pair of side cutters, grab each side of the ear, and squeeze it. And that gets it nice and tight. Okay. So we'll go ahead and loosen it up. Take it out, and it's nice and crimped on there. She ain't going nowhere. So we'll go ahead and attach this to the transmission, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, I got the line connected to the transmission and routed up front, partially, I guess you could say. So on a TH400, the bottom fitting on the transmission is fluid coming out of the transmission to the cooler, and then the top fitting is going to be the fluid coming from the cooler back to the transmission. Okay, So let's go ahead and get these cut to the right length, and then we'll put the fittings on and hook them up to the cooler. Alright guys, there we go. We got them hooked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this radiator in there, and then I'll put the mounts that I got painted the other day on there, and we'll see what she looks like. Alright guys, there's that all installed. For now, we're gonna use just the transmission cooler, the external one, and we're gonna see how it goes. If I need to use the cooler in the radiator, I will, but I want to try to keep as much heat and stuff out of the radiator and the cooling system as I can, and let the transmission heat, because the transmission is going to get pretty hot. So I want to use just that cooler if I can. I mean, I know I'm going to get some of the heat radiating through the intercooler or the radiator and all that shit from the airflow across it, but for now I'm just going to use the external, and we'll go from there. If my trans temp gets too high, then we'll plumb that into and run it in series. So everything fit on this radiator fairly well. There wasn't any. I haven't put the fan on it yet, so I'm not sure how the fan's gonna fit. We'll have to see. I'm not sure. That stub right there where the fan bolts to looks a lot longer than the factory radiator has, but it could be a little deceiving. I don't know, but we'll go ahead and I'll test fit this fan, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so it's closer than I thought it was, but you can see that little gap. I want it to sit almost flush with the radiator core there, because the more it sticks out, the less clearance I have between the motor and the fan for the turbos. So you can see this. I think if I cut, I don't know, what is that, ½ inch or so off of this, it'll allow the fan to come back a little farther, sit right about here, and that'll bring the whole thing in a little bit, and get me that more clearance that I had in the factory form there. So no big deal. Other than that, it fits great, so can't complain so far. All right guys, so still out here grinding. I wanted to fit my new JGS wastegates to the turbo up pipes to make sure, for one, that they'll fit a tile wastegate flange, which they do. I'll get back to that in a minute. But I want to show you something that kind of bothered me. Well, let me take that back. I opened the first JGS wastegate, and I looked down in there, and there was fucking like all kinds of gritty ass metal down inside the wastegate, like machining metal or something. Like, it was filthy, like fucking filled with metal. What the fuck? So I didn't think about filming it before I cleaned it out, but I cleaned it out and put it on. But now I grabbed the second wastegate, and we're gonna check it together to see if it's full of metal like the first one was. Because if it is, that's fucking bullshit. I mean, that's a $300+ fucking wastegate each, and they come fucking filthy full of metal, worse than the fucking China gates. Like, I can't believe this. But let me turn this camera around and we'll check it out. All right, guys. So brand new wastegate. It's gonna be backwards because I got the camera facing forward, but you can see it, I think. Part numbers and everything. I got these from Race Part Solutions, but it looked like they were shipped directly from JGS. Let's open it up. Turn my light on here. Same fucking deal. I don't get this. I mean, just flat filled with fucking chunks of metal. Let me grab the camera and show you this. My finger on it and wipe some of it off. See if it'll do it. See all that shit on my finger? Let's see if it... all that flaky shit? That's what's inside this fucking wastegate. This one ain't nearly as bad as the other one. There, you can kind of see it now. In focus. Look at all that shit down in there. That's ridiculous. I don't know how that happens, but well, let's go ahead and clean it out. Alright guys, another cool place. If you need any kind of pressure transducer, whether it's, you know, like this for your dome pressure, fuel pressure, oil pressure, transmission charge pressure, line pressure, I mean any kind of pressure sensor that you can think of that you need, map sensor, check out, it's called LowDollar Motorsports, okay? And they got very inexpensive 0 to 5 volt and 0 to, I think they got sensors that read up to 1,000 psi or 500 psi. I can't remember, you'd have to double check. But I got two sensors, two 0 to 100 psi sensors, one for dome pressure, one for fuel pressure. They come with connectors and pins that you can wire in your own pigtail, or for like fucking $10 or some ridiculously cheap price, it comes with, you can get one of these. This is a plug and play, plugs right in to the sensor, and then it has like, I want to say this is 15 feet of wire, pre-loomed, wrapped. I mean, look at it. I mean, it looks professional. This was like $10. I think I got two sensors and two harnesses, plug and play harnesses, for like $50 shipped to my door. You try to get one of these 5 volt sensors from like Holly or any of the big name companies, you're gonna pay over $100 just for that sensor. You know, so you can't beat it. LowDollarMotorsports.com. Check them out, man. That's a hell of a deal. I got this one set up. This T-fitting came from Motion Raceworks, along with that fitting for the 1/4 inch airline, push to connect. Sensor screws right into the dome of the JGS wastegate, and we're all set. So you don't need, if you're running twin turbos and you have 2 wastegates, you don't need 2 pressure sensors, because these lines to the top of each wastegate are going to be teed in together anyways. So one sensor could read the pressure that's going to be at both wastegates, you know. So it ain't no big deal. You don't need 2. But yeah, guys, awesome deal. It even comes with the graph that you can punch into your Holly or your Mega Squirt to you know, your linear curve or whatever you want to call it for inputting the data into your PCM. So nice deal, guys. Check them out. All right, guys, I got to call it a night. I gotta get up early for work tomorrow, so I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one here. I'll probably back out tomorrow night after work, so hopefully I'll have another video out for you, and we'll get some more stuff done, and it's just a matter of getting all the finishing touches put on it. And before I know it, we'll be ready to start this thing, and then it'll be off to the track. But all right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.